Hi, this is Athena StarSeed. This is a series called Raising Reverence, and this is my second segment with Alorah Inanna, who is an author, a lecturer, a practitioner, a teacher, and a global traveler. And we are talking about the solutions to the world's issues presently. And it's a very interesting solution to war and gun violence and breaking down of family constructs. And tell us what it is.
Well, it's speaking to erotic wellness, about addressing, acknowledging, and providing for the erotic needs of our society. And, I didn't say this to you, but I'm going to say it now. You think about it, as mothers, if our child is interested in anything, we give them lessons, right? Like, they want to croquet, you're going to get them croquet lessons or crochet or anything
Piano.
they want. The minute they get interested in sex and drugs, no instruction.
No lessons.
No, please don't tell me about it, and they're thrown out into that time, that 12 to 13 time. That is a natural time where the being starts to want to have a spiritual connection, so they're used to go through rituals. They go out and do death, scary rituals,
right.
and come back awake.
Right.
Out of the use of the peyote or the ayahuasca
Exactly.
or whatever.
Or their bar mitzvah or the
So
bar
there's
mitzvah,
a natural
ceremony.
instinct to have a transcendent experience that starts to show up at 12 or 13. And if we don't guide it, then you get the kids misusing cannabis and everything else, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing with sex. Sex is coming in. If we don't guide it, you're going to have more of the same. And right now, what you're going to have is something we've never had before, which is so much ease of access to pornography,
right,
that it is imprinting the young men in very difficult ways. It's giving them an idea what sex is that is so far off and has no love in it, no spirit in it. And it's also giving them, inferiority complexes, because they see these huge lingams and they don't have one themselves like that.
Yeah.
So there's this very major miseducation going on. So we have to address this, and doing that will be the game changer if we do it at every level, at the level of our youth and at the level of our current, whatever age we all are.
And you were talking about before that there are levels of initiation every so many years, with a woman getting her menses and then getting married and then having a baby, or getting pregnant and then having a baby and then having menopause. These typically, thousands of years ago, were done in community with the wise woman of the culture or the red tent, these kind of things. And we remove that. And so a lot of women are in the dark, and a lot of young boys are in the dark, is what you were talking about. And so how do we go back to the time, pleasure, and play at this stage of the game? We can't change the whole school system right now, but we can educate women and their mothers, or men and their sons.
Well, we spoke about this a little bit. So first, let me talk about time, pleasure, and play quick. Okay. So in the last segment, we talked about the upward pointing triangle, which is the masculine concerns of life being wealth, sex, and spirit, and how those three things circulate in an organic way. The feminine concerns of life are time, pleasure, and play.
Those are my concerns: time, pleasure, and play.
Right? Women are the ones who discovered time. Our bodies, cycles, the moon. We started paying attention. We realized there's such a thing as cycles of the moon. There's cycles of our body. We stop having bleeding, and we have 9 months later, we have a baby. We started getting an understanding of time. And for the most part, time is what women manage in the relationships. What are we doing for pleasure, right? Women manage the recreational time of the relationship, generally.
Right.
They are the source of pleasure. I mean, I don't really think men have much fun without women.
No.
We are the source of pleasure. and we also are the fun. We're the play. We're both the pleasure and the play. And that's true within each person. In other words, the masculine in me needs to concern myself with wealth, sex, and spirit. And the feminine in me needs to concern myself with time, pleasure, and play.
I love that.
And that's true in the masculine.
Formula. Yeah.
And so in a holistic system, watch this, I haven't said this to you. You've now got a 6-pointed star, okay?
Time, pleasure, and play.
Yeah, so if you start over in the wealth corner,
right,
and you think, okay, the moment so you and I are sitting here today doing this because we are not out there scrambling for food and shelter right now.
Right.
We feel wealthy enough to take our time and be here, right?
Right.
So when you feel like you're solid, you're not in survival mode, the first thing you feel like you have is time. What do you want to do with your time? Something that turns you on.
Right.
Why? Because it brings you pleasure. What's pleasure? Pleasure is the felt experience of spirit. That's why we say, oh God, when we come. And the felt experience of spirit lets you know it's all a play. You can play. God's guiding the whole thing. Spirit's guiding it. We've never been born. We're never going to die. Nothing's really wrong. We're in evolution.
Right.
Let's play.
Let's
and
play. This is a play. This is a Leela.
And we're playing right
we're
now,
playing.
aren't we?
Yes.
So the play, the feeling of play, makes you have creative ideas, makes you do things like that, makes you say, well, how do we fix our problems? How can we create with each other and flow abundance in our lives? And so that's the 6-cylinder engine that is supposed to be running at all times, right?
Yes.
And what has happened is instead of a 6-cylinder engine, we have a 2-cylinder engine, because what we've done, we knocked out, we separated sex and spirit, and it caused a break in the whole engine. It's like somebody threw a rod into the engine, and the only thing that's still running is wealth and sex.
Right.
And so women are trading sex for money, and men are trading money for sex, and nobody feels good in the process.
Nobody feels good.
And we're spending all of our money on symbols of sex, saying you'll get sex, but you won't. You
the
can't.
Status symbols.
You
Just
can't.
keep
You
getting
know,
those
I always
status
like
symbols.
this is something so fun. You tell me anything else that a person can give away as much as they want, but if they charge for it, they go to jail. See, if I could have sex with 10 men a day, and I'd be judged, but I wouldn't be jailed. Touch a man's lingam, teach him something about his body, and be paid $10 for it, and I have committed a crime, and I can go to jail.
This is going to get a little controversial for those of you who are watching this show. We don't talk